welcome to episode. Oh, the chat cleared. Good. Welcome to episode 6. This is the halfway point because we're slotted for 12 episodes. Episodes. What is this, Connie?
Oh, that's how you count to 6 with Chinese hand gestures, I guess. Yeah, sounds like yo. That's 6.
I thought you were like, hang loose, everyone.
Oh, no. Hang 10.
Halfway
Hang 6,
point.
please.
Hang 6. Episode 6 of Higher Education, a 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons game set in the Strixhaven universe with a wholly original story and a beautiful cast. Speaking of beautiful cast, let's say hi to them and they can tell us who they are and who they're playing and how beautiful they are. Hamna, you want to start?
Hello. Yes. Hi, I'm Hamna. I don't normally start, so this is different.
I'm switching
My name
it up.
is Hamna. I use any and all pronouns, and I am a very, very beautiful TTRPG performer. I am playing Jaisha, who uses they pronouns, who honestly is also extremely hot. It's upsetting, as somebody said on Twitter today. And I guess the only thing that you need to know about them for now is that they are an Earth Genasi sorcerer blood hunter who is going to handle this. We're going to handle this. Nothing's going to go wrong. We're all going to be fine. Yeah. Don't ask any questions. And with that, I am going to pass it over to Drac.
Hi, I'm Drac, or Draconics. You can find me on Twitter at Draconics, that's DRAKONIQUES. I'm a pretty decent TTRPG performer, I think. Looks-wise, I think I'm at least above average on a good day.
This is slanderous. Please.
Can you, what are you saying? You're beautiful.
Once more, this time with feeling.
Yeah, let's start from the top. And this
Anyway,
time,
I play Barigosh. He's a she, he, they pronouns, who is gorgeous. I think they're stunning. I don't know if they know it. I don't know if they care, frankly. And they're a Gorgon inventor with their construct named Star, or A Star, which stands for, give me a sec, because I never memorized this. It stands for Animated and Specialized Titanium Adamant Alloy Rig version 13.
Jack, you're muted in the captions.
In captions, let me see if I can fix that. Okay, hi.
Diego.
Am I coming with captions?
Mm-hmm.
Cool, perfect. Hi, I'm Drac. For anyone that couldn't see or hear what I was saying, I'm Drac. He, they pronouns, playing Barigosh. He's a she, he, they pronouns. He has a construct named Star. He's a she, they, it pronouns, if you want to ever refer to them. Yes, that's it. I'm going to throw it over to Liv.
Hey everybody, hi, I'm Liv. I use she, they pronouns, and I will be playing Cirro Lilytwirl, who uses they, them pronouns. I don't know why I almost used he. Literally, they've never used he a moment since they were born.
It's
but that's a
never
different
too
conversation.
late.
Is Liv? I'm so not Liv. Oh my god, it's Cirro transitioning. Well, so I've always headcanoned Cirro as a map, actually. But uses they, them pronouns. So there's your little bit of lore for today. I think that you know what? I do look very pretty today. I was really struggling with my makeup and then I kind of busted out at the last 5 minutes. And that's usually my best makeup looks. In fact, if you go on Twitter, my pinned tweet is one of them. You can find me on Twitter at liveinaday. And I'm very excited to be here with everybody playing Cirro, who I'm ready for this new era of Cirro, I think. And now I'm going to pass it off to, I'm going to pass off to Connie.
Hey everyone, I'm Connie. My pronouns are they, he, and she. You can find me across the internet at ByConnieChang, ByConniChang, Twitter, TikTok, where have you. I am playing Mystagogue Stag Zorgraves. Stag is everyone's favorite, emotionally unavailable, massively muscular, butch lesbian, non-binary icon. And I'm ready for her to not process the fact that we just manslaughtered a guy. and he's now in pieces at the bottom of a poop chasm. So I'm excited to deal with the fallout of that. But yeah, Stag is very emotionally stable right now. Definitely. Yes, 100%. No lie. C, take it away.
Hi, everyone. My name's C, and I'm pretty. Thank you. I'm playing X tonight, who uses they, them pronouns, who is also very pretty, but in like a kind of scary way, like scary pretty, is what I've decided just now. You can find me making very trans, very gay art of all of my very pretty OCs on the internet at PieSharpArt. And now I'm going to pass it back to Vana, because I want to play. I want to play so bad I'm going to eat my microphone.
Do it. I'll give you. Oh, no, for free. Okay, good.
But you know what's not for free? Beatboxing.
That's right. At $200. I just think it's so funny. We promote this $200 tier every week for Connie to beatbox, and Connie's never gonna get to beatbox.
We never hit it.
No, we're gonna do it one day. One day it's gonna happen. I am manifesting it.
Love,
yeah, I'm
okay?
manifesting it. Like one day we're gonna hear the Stag beatbox. It's gonna happen.
It's gonna be so underwhelming. I know like 3 mouth noises. Boots and cats. Boots and cats.
Yeah.
Boots and cats.
Well, here's the deal, y'all, about the goal. It's there at the bottom if you're watching us live or in the VOD. But you can also do ! goal in the chat. If it links to our Pally page, any tips you make there are split evenly between all of us very pretty people. And if we hit 100, it'll unlock a bonus scene, which will happen at the end of next episode. We have one for you today. Thanks for unlocking it last week. And if we hit $200, double the daily goal, Connie will beatbox in character. Even when if you hit it and Stag is in the middle of a mental breakdown, Stag will stop and find a reason narratively to start beatboxing. So please do yourselves a favor, to be honest.
Oh my god.
I need this to happen when Stag is in like a scene with her parents, with like her fathers.
Like a really intense scene. It'll be like in High School Musical.
High School Musical vibes, really, yeah, like Chloe Bolton.
You're like, Dad, I want to be a musician.
And I do it, and my dads are like, that's not good. Like, it's one thing if you're good, but
Closer to being a High School Musical Strixhaven mashup. Fuck Dark
Listen.
Academia. This is
Okay,
a true
hold on.
Trojan
Hold on.
horse.
all of our characters are in different movies right now, okay? Stag's in High School Musical.
Yeah.
What movie is everybody else in?
Jennifer's
X is in the
body.
fucking Godfather or something.
You're in Jennifer's body? Is
Yeah.
that what she said? Who said Godfather? Who's in the
That's not a high
I
school
feel like
movie.
X is in like a no. It doesn't have to be. It's like a crime thriller.
I
I
thought
feel like
we were
X
all
is in a
in
crime
different
thriller.
high school movies.
Oh.
So X is in the Heathers, right?
Who?
Oh my god.
I haven't seen this.
My
If
ex-family.
you're going high school movies, I guess so.
I mean, Heather's is a very good one, and one of my personality
I've
traits. So
never
we're gonna move past this before I spiral. But
I'm
you
in
just
Sky
wanna be
High.
in
Cool.
Jennifer's
Let's
body.
I'm in Sky
Okay.
High.
Bars and Freaks and Geeks. For
Freaks and
sure.
Geeks,
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wait, what about Cirro? We need to do Cirro before we move on.
Mean Girls. Easy.
Easy.
Yeah.
Done.
Next.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Or the Netflix adaptation of The Winx Club.
How fucking dare Vana in the show with the cameras, dead ass. How fucking dare you? You know that this is that's triggering. That's upsetting.
I don't know what this is in reference to, but I can tell that you've hurt Liv, and I need you to
Yeah.
think on that.
I don't think I ever said a word that hadn't hurt Liv, and I don't think I don't
almost
plan
my
on starting.
birthday. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Liv's birthday is in 2 to 3 days. I don't know when Monday is. Is it
2
3
days.
days?
It's 2
Does
days.
today count as one of the days?
No, it does not.
Oh,
Yeah, it's pretty much over for me anyway.
well, 2
And
days.
I love you.
I love cheesy potatoes.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, not
Oh,
the
no,
swerve.
Vanna.
Come on,
You like this, you
Vanna.
like this, come
Vanna.
on.
Y'all stop goofing
No,
around.
I love you, Liv, okay?
What? Liv knows that I don't have to tell you, Liv, right? You know.
No, I know.
You know.
I know.
I made
But
you.
I will always tell you.
Oh, wow.
Vana won't
shit.
say it, but I'll say it.
So
I'm
really,
fine
the
being the
secret is that
mistress.
I'm actually in a movie. I'm in a rom-com about transcontinental streaming.
Excuse me.
Why'd you use that proper, like,
Yeah, what the fuck?
proper word? Transcontinental Railroad.
Why is it a reimagining of Gone with the Wind? I'm so confused.
Not Gone with the Wind. Not with two black people here. Not Gone with the Wind. Also, so clearly not continental. Dragons in a different country. So I did use that
Entirely.
wrong.
Transatlantic. Right?
Transatlantic.
Like across the ocean.
God.
Y'all need to stop goofing. I'm busy.
Yes, we committed a murder. Let's go.
No, I have to plug our stuff.
Oh, my bad. We
Murder.
didn't commit a murder. Scrap that.
Not yet. Not yet.
Y'all, higher education, the show we're hypothetically going to do at some point, is presented by the one and only Penny Dragon Games. And right now on the Kickstarter.com.gg, what's their dot? On Kickstarter, you know the website. You can now check out their latest $1 one shot, The Case of Norntok. They're releasing a series of $1. That's right, one human American dollar will get you an entire campaign. They're going to launch regularly. They are short and digital only, so you don't need to wait around for fulfillment of a physical item. You're going to get it within like 2 weeks of the Kickstarter ending. And they're going to be a PDF, and they're going to be sexy and ready to use. And they're going to include a mystery one-shot, an NPC, a monster, a battle map, original art, and more, all just for $1. And if that isn't enough, because I know all of you are greedy little grubbies, all backers will receive a bonus one shot for free. For free dollars. That is $1 and free cents for 2 one shots and then some other stuff that is sexy and cool. So make sure you follow the Kickstarter, and you can do !PDG in the chat to get a direct link. So go do it right now. Go back the Kickstarter for $1, you silly gooses. Other things we need to talk about are other sponsors. Thank you so much to all the companies that have sponsored us. They're all fantastic. They all make amazing products for and related to the tabletop of the RPGs. So please go check them out. Fill your carts and make your dreams come true. It's the season. Treat yourself and someone else if you want to. Me, for instance. Content warning. Check out our list of content warnings. This will be updated as we go, but right now we're sitting with gore, trauma, psychological abuse, death, and bullying. Please take care of yourselves, and if you need to step away or leave the episode for any reason, that is a-okay. Hopefully we can see you back in the future when the subject matter is less straining for you. Of course, check out our casts at !cast at any point in time. Those are their Twitters. Best way to be able to find them everywhere that they are doing amazing things beyond, of course, this show. And then you can also check out our podcast. We have 3 episodes live right now. I should have episode 4 up in the next few days. And you can support the cast also on Ko-Fi, becoming a subscriber, one-off, whatever you want. But we have a goal right now. We're currently 5% away from completing. And if we hit that, we're going to release another edited player interview on our Twitter. So go check that out and follow us on Twitter while you're at it, at Higher Ed. And if you are on the social media doing stuff and you want to talk about the show, talk about the cast, share some fan art, maybe a song you wrote about us and how pretty we are, please use the hashtag HigherEdRPG. And don't forget to follow the channel. And I think that's all I've got. Also, by the way, I'm Havana. You can follow me here at twitch.tv/Vana. That's VANA. And I mostly stream the Vigi games full time. But here's where my heart is. And here's where we will dive into the show, unless anybody's got anything else. Good to go? All right. The dawn finally breaks on the longest night of your lives. The sun rises the same as it ever has, peeking up over the hills, glinting through the star arches, and backlighting the campus buildings with a sweet, indulgent hues. The people around you move the same as they ever did, pulling on clothes, opening and closing the doors, heading out for a day of learning, hard work, and enduring. Arcavios continues to trundle forward, despite the halting intrusion of your own secrets and machinations. We jump down to the now more ruinous sewer and find Ecstasy, wearing the skin of their dead parent, Eve, walking with unfettered intention down the sewerways in search of Dave. X quickly finds the pile of excrement that the party last saw Dave indulging in, now diminished from his feasting. They see no sight of Dave, but pick up a faint snoring emitting from inside the refuse.
Oh, this presents something of a problem. X looks at the snoring poop pile and clears their throat quietly. Excuse me, Dave. Excuse me, Dave.
Is someone there?
Yes.
You see, like, this Dave's giant maw, just forever smiling, that impossibly wide toothy grin, sort of forms out of the pile, so it almost looks like the pile of shit is talking. And he goes, "Who is that?"
Just a friend. I heard a rumor that there's something behind that door with the red X on it.
A rumor? And then his sensory stock with the multiple eyeballs and other feely things punches out higher up on the shit pile and takes you in. And is like, "I don't recognize you."
I don't think you would, for any particular reason.
"So how do you know about the X on the door?"
How did you know about the X on the door? I'm
What?
a friend of Kleka's.
"I live here. Klecker doesn't have any friends except the rats and the worms. I guess maybe I'm his friend. I don't know. We've got a bit of a strange relationship. And I think he's gone."
For now. But he asked me to do something before he left. Something that involves you. Do you think you can help me with that?
Klecker asked you to ask me for help.
Yes, that's right.
You see his body shifting, and so does the pile of refuse upon him. And he steps out, and some of it slumps off the back of him. And then, like a dog, he shakes his body, and the shit just goes spraying everywhere, all over you, all over the curved walls of the sewer.
Can I roll something to see
Yeah.
whether or not I flinch from this?
Yes, yeah, go for it.
I'll try charisma. Charisma
Sure.
saving throw. Let's see. I rolled a 19. 21. X doesn't flinch as it splatters across their body.
"Oh, sorry about that. Usually no one's standing near when I disrobe."
That's quite all right. I'm used to the sewer.
You know, it's strange though, because Klecker's never asked me for anything. He's a bit of a I don't know, he's an independent guy.
Yes, that's true. But desperate times. This is a very important task I'm asking you to do. It may seem simple, but for me and for Kleka and for you, it will become a task of the most importance. Of this year, certainly, perhaps of your entire life.
Well, I don't know. I'll be the judge of that. What is it?
And X reaches kind of around their body and pulls out this like bag of ashes. This bag of dirt, I need you to sprinkle it in with the rest of the magic behind the door with the red X on it.
Sprinkle it in? Why?
Because I asked you to.
Well, I don't know
Because
you.
Kleka asked me to.
Well, I didn't know Kleka even talked to anyone. Except the rats.
He trusts you. Maybe you could wear spats too, if you do this well enough. Like the rats do.
Well, you know, I've got my hat, so I don't need too much.
It's not necessarily about what you need.
If
It's about what you want.
If you know Kleka, where'd he go? What happened? His house
There
is
was
all
an
in
incident.
shambles.
It is. But he'll be back. Don't worry. He'll certainly be back.
Where's he gonna live? His house is fallen down, and there's rocks everywhere. And I heard
Rocks can be
screaming.
moved.
Right. Well, he's got hollow bones.
Kleka is a lot tougher than anyone gives him credit for. You know that well enough, don't you? And your house, and they kind of gesture at the refuse pile, which has been like splattered out and about, is also destroyed in some ways, is it not?
Whoa.
The process of building a home is one of the most joyful, so they say.
Who says that?
Kleka... I don't quite know.
Me either.
People.
They would. They would
Yes,
say that.
people would. But you and I know a little bit better than that. I know you worry for Kleka, but doing this will help us. It really will. And maybe if you do this, Kleka will be able to come home sooner. We'll be able to come back sooner. Once it's safe.
Can you give me a deception check or what's the other one? A convincing check. What is that?
Persuasion.
Persuasion?
I assume...
I swear to God,
Okay.
I play D&D. I swear.
7.
Well, with
Deception.
advantage, because he's
Okay, thank God.
he's very vulnerable right now.
Oh God, okay. 18.
Okay. Yeah. I think his eye stalk or his sensory stalk sort of wavers back and forth for a moment, taking you in and considering what you've said. And then he says, so if I do this, then Kleka can come home faster.
Yes.
And you promise. Because, I mean, we weren't friends, but we were like neighbors, and it's awfully lonely down here all by myself. And, you know, I was used to being alone before, but then I was here, and Kleka was here, and all the little rats were here, and the worms. And now they're all gone. And it's quiet. And I'd rather it not stay that way.
I think I understand what you're talking about.
Do you?
I'm used to a very quiet life myself. I had never really had friends or neighbors or people around me before either. And despite reason, despite everything I know, I find myself wanting them to stay, wanting to stay with them. So yes, I promise that if you do this, you won't be so lonely anymore.
Is it going to hurt?
No. You don't mind what's behind the door with the red X, do you?
No.
Then it won't hurt.
Dave reaches out with one of his barbed tentacles, offering his palm.
And X gently places the bag of ash in the tentacle hand.
Low or high?
Hi.
Well, I'll just be on with it then. Dave starts trundling over or down one of the passageways in the direction of the red X door. Do you like intend to supervise him, or are you going to leave after he heads in the direction of his task?
I think X would stay just to make sure that he comes back, and they'd say their goodbye.
Okay. Yeah, you can if you're not following after him, you can still hear sort of the pieces of the door clattering as he moves them to the side. And a bit of, I think, maybe like squish as he walks through the amalgamation of arcane waste. And then no noise, and then everything in reverse. And he trudges back up to you. And he goes, "All right, job's done."
I appreciate it. I won't disturb you anymore for the rest of the night. Or day, I suppose it is now.
Well, it doesn't quite matter down here. Just go to bed when you're tired. Eat when you're
then
hungry.
I won't disturb your rest.
Are you hungry?
No, thank you. I just ate.
If you wanted to stay for a little bit and, if you've been busy, you want to rest your heels, I bet I could find a chair somewhere down here.
I'm afraid that I might make some other people very lonely if I stay away for too long.
Oh, yes, I suppose that's the thing. Someone's always lonely. What'd you say your name was?
Eve.
Well, that's a pretty name, I think. My name's
Thank
Dave.
you. Dave. It's lovely to meet you. And I hope to see you again soon.
You too? Will you be moving back in with Klecker?
We'll see.
Oh, you
I
too?
can't say that Kleka and I were that close.
Oh.
Certainly not that close.
Oh, okay. Well, we've got plenty of room for new neighbors.
I think you might have some new neighbors soon enough. Or at least occasional visitors.
Oh, that would be so nice. Well, then enjoy your time. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, Dave.
And you tell Klecker that, I've done it, so he can come back now.
I'll be sure to let him know as soon as possible.
Thank you. And
X disappears down the hallway.
Yeah, and as you're turning away, he uses one of his free tentacles to tip his top hat on his sensory stalk at you. Incredible. So a lot has gone down in a short period of time. So what I want to do is a bit of a time skip where we're going through a week or two, or maybe even 3, as things unfold both internally and externally, and the psychological and physical consequences of your actions and inactions begin to take hold. So what I want to hear from y'all is in your day-to-day of going to school and having to go to class and having to maintain a relationship between the people involved and the people not involved, and sort of settling things within yourself, how does that change the way your routine looks or how you engage? And if somebody has an idea on what's to start, you can volunteer, or I can start calling on people.
I'll go. I'll
Okay.
heroically step forward. I think that Cirro really throws themselves into their studies. Yes. But definitely you also notice Cirro throwing themselves more into like the social aspect of Strixhaven. I mean, even though we're grad students, like Cirro definitely is. I mean, people still do things, you know what I mean? So Cirro's going to like a lot of cohort meets and a lot of like school activities, and will mention this to Jaisha and will mention this to Stag, but otherwise doesn't seems to be speaking to the rest of the group, aka X and Baru, less and less and less. Like, I think before this whole interaction, they had just gotten to the point where it's like, okay, well, like, obviously when I go out and have breakfast with myself and Jaisha's there, I'm going to make Jaisha a cup of coffee. But also if like Baru and X are there, I'll get them a beverage, or just like make enough toast for everybody but not say anything. Like that, those tsundere ass actions. But otherwise, no, like does not really interact with them, does their best to stay away from those two. Yeah, which is so great to have a roommate like that, right?
We've all had that roommate, right? I think I've been that roommate.
I mean, listen, set up your boundaries. I'm sure, Vana, you were doing it because you had boundaries. I don't think that's why Cirro's doing it.
Why is Cirro doing it?
Because Cirro was told to, more or less.
Truing. Anyone else got an overview of the following days and weeks after the incident? Connie.
Yeah, I've got something. I think as simultaneous to Cirro throwing themselves into their studies and their cohort work, Stag throws herself into training. Like, she obviously like regularly exercises and keeps up with her acts and her martial forms and whatnot, but she kind of like overdoes it this week. She's in the gym, in the arena, like from sun up till sundown, only taking breaks to eat very quickly and to do the obligatory grad student things she has to do, like obligatory faculty meetings or like obligatory check-ins with her supervisor. But other than that, she's training. Like, she doesn't even take the glamour off of her acts to practice music or keep writing for that entire week. She's just sharpening specifically her reflexes. So we see her in like an obstacle course with like a bunch of like swinging blades and like dummies she has to weave between, and she's like testing her dexterity and testing her reflexes all the time. Like, she moves into a booth for a reflex test where like lights will come up and she has to like hit them in the right order, like, and tries to do them faster and faster and faster and faster. And I think by the end of this week, she's honed her reflexes so much that she has gained a feral instinct, which means she has advantage on initiative rolls now. And she, if she's surprised at the beginning of combat, she can act normally on her first turn anyway, as long as she enters a rage. So I think every activity she participates in, that same image is flitting past her mind's eye of Chorus like falling past her fingertips. If she had just been faster, if she'd just gotten there faster, grabbed him sooner, this wouldn't have happened. So she's just trying to make sure that never happens again.
Perfection. And yeah, for anyone who didn't know, because I don't know if we said it on stream, the players did level up since last session. So we're level 7 now? Yeah. All right, who's next?
I can go.
Okay.
Jaisha, during this next week or two, is reinvigorated in their work. Ray throws themselves similarly to Cirro and Stag, throws themselves into their thesis, into their work. And what that specifically means is that Ray has been, well, ramping up all of the different experiments and all of the different studies that Ray does for their work. They have been talking to a lot of different people on campus, trying to get as many volunteers as possible to do all of their biological experiments in order to create mutagens, to create alterations to the body that work on people that are not themselves. And probably their supervisor has been pleasantly surprised, but also a little bit concerned that Jaisha is moving through this process much faster than is probably scientifically, well, firstly advised, but secondly ethical, because Ray is looking for a solution and looking for it quickly. They do not have time to sit through and to wait for approval from different committees and different bureaucracies. They don't have time for that. We don't have time for that. And so Ray is kind of actively going through this. And I think at the same time, they have this nagging feeling in the back of their mind that tugs at them constantly. That reminder of the vision that Ray saw down in the sewers, and they've been thinking about it over and over and over again. This lake, this feeling, this vision of the crumbling of Strixhaven, this building, and this calamity that's going to happen. And I think it's been making Jaisha a little bit paranoid as well. And so Ray has been kind of to the opposite of Cirro. While Cirro has been avoiding a lot of the group, I think Jaisha has been weirdly present in everyone's lives. Jaisha is constantly checking in on everybody to make sure that nothing is going wrong, that nobody has been approached by somebody else, that they're okay, that just trying to maintain some semblance of control over the situation, because right now they feel like they have lost control over a lot.
Perfection. Drac?
Yeah. I think the first few days, Baru had been absent. I don't think he went into any of the classes. He hasn't even really gone back to the Zero house. He's kind of made his workshop their home for at least the first maybe few days to a week. And in that workshop, he hasn't been able to bring himself to do anything really, in kind of a state of paralysis where every time he strikes metal, every time he welds it, the sounds that come off of the equipment always seems to sound like the shattering of chorus, and they're never able to work on really anything for more than a few minutes. So they kind of just sit in that paralysis of physically not being able to do it, and then the guilt of not being able to do it, pushing them to try to do it again, and then forcing them back into that paralysis, and it just kind of keeps going and going. And then I think at some point they go off to buy a spell scroll with the silence spell on it, because they figure that everyone's kind of they're relying on what they're able to do, and right now they're useless, so they're trying anything and everything to be useful. And as far as they can tell, it's the sound, the memory of the killing of chorus that's keeping them paralyzed. So they buy a spell scroll, which I imagine would have probably taken up quite a lot of their, at very least, budget allowance where they have for that week or month. And in the second week or so, they start actually working on the rings. And I imagine they're only able to get one done because of the cost of the silence spell scroll and the cost of the materials. And once they have that done, they, like everyone else, dive into, or at the very least, like Cirro and Stag, dive headfirst into work. They're improving Star, which to the point where Star now is able to cast limited spells. They've used the arcane transceiver that previously, before the campaign started, X had gotten for Baru, and added some extra components just to keep it from overheating and possibly breaking and fracturing. And they've just they've reached a point where they're not even trying to excel at what they're doing. They're very much like, I'm just going to do what I need to do and then zone out for a few hours on end. And that's kind of been what they've been doing for the past however many weeks.
How much money does Baru have?
The parents are pretty, not like well off. They're not nobles. I think they're like, I don't know. Actually don't know how to put into words for D&D
Well-
settings. I've never been in a game that mattered in.
Oh, money matters, of course. Because I think that scroll would be at least like 150 to 200 gold pieces.
Oh, I think they would have
Okay.
that, like at the very least, yeah.
Okay. Do Baru's parents sponsor their work, or does Arcavios? Or not Arcavios, Arcadium.
Yeah.
Stag Daddy.
Oh, that's a good question. I've never thought about that. I think Bard's parent just sends them like money, like just any parent would just be like, hey, here's some extra money for food and stuff if you want. For the actual work, I honestly, I imagine Arcadium does, yeah.
So is this outside the realm of their usual allowance that they had to ask for extra funds, or a like, what do you call it, when you
Like a
get it
top-up
early,
kind of-
when you get
Yeah.
it in advance?
I think, and honestly, Connie, you can correct me on this because you obviously know the character's parents more than I do. But I imagine that Arcadian will be like always offer up, like, if you want early like payment, let me know and I'll do it. But Baru just never needed to ask for it. They've always been very good about budgeting and planning out how much and when they're going to buy equipment and material and stuff like that.
But you did
So I think
ask.
but this time I did ask, and I think that's probably like a first time.
Okay.
Yeah.
See?
X is like an odd ghost in the house. Like, I think that they are very, similarly to Baru, very absent. They are off doing different tasks. Like, they set themselves to a task every day. They go to class, they do their work, but they are very rarely around other than that. Except in those like odd opportune moments, like a late or like a very early morning when Cirro is like coming out of their room, and X also just happens to be going back into their room and like will make eye contact with them across the hallway but not say anything and go in. Like, I think there are a lot of moments like that. Similarly, where like Baru will find food on her work desk, like in their private workshop, like different things like that that are very obviously left by X for different people, like little things specifically for Baru, but like very rarely like any actual sightings of them, except like in these little like flashes of moments. They're frequenting the sewers, and they are looking for clues. Like, they are deep, deep, deep in the library, and they're hunting Kleka down, is what they're doing in their free time, like actively.
I love that. What would they be trying to find in the library?
Any like records, school records of this person, if they were like on sports teams and stuff like that.
Okay.
Any like like reports about odd behavior, if they like found this person's records, they would definitely sneak into also like offices to find different like school records if they had found something like to be not or censored in the library or something like that.
So I think around the start of the second week after the incident, you're doing that. You're going through records. You're doing petty crimes to get access to specific files. And you do find, well, give me an investigation check.
Oh, delicious. Very well. 13.
13, and then give me one more for week 2.
Understood. I rolled the same thing twice, another 13.
Perfect. So you find the, I guess, like, charter of the champions of Mage Tower from 10 years ago. And you see Kleka's name on that list.
X has no respect for libraries. They would tear the page out of whatever book it's in, pocket it, and then, like, in one of those kind of ghost moments where they haven't been seen for Check's Watch 5 days, they would, like, show up outside of Stag's door with the piece of paper.
Okay. Yeah, I imagine it's probably like a yearbook or something that you found. And it just has one of those pages where it's like dedicated to the champions of the year blah blah blah. Let's go Mage Tower. And Kleka's like on the very end. There's a picture of Kleka on like the very end, fully puffing out his chest, but the rest of his team members are not standing by, like, close to him, or there's some uncomfortable distance compared to their proximity, which is them leaning over each other and laughing and smiling. You get a knock on your door, Stag.
Stag is in the middle of doing push-ups. I think she's got her, like, workout clothes on, like a tank top, I think, tucked into some, like, workout sweats, and some socks, right? And she's just in the middle of, like, doing, 132, 133, 134. Yeah, 1 second. And she, like, pushes herself up, grabs, like, a sweat towel, sort of mops at her face and the back of her neck, and her hair, which is still in her, it's a braid as usual, is kind of, like, sticking to her skin as she opens the door. Hey.
Hi. And they shove the paper, like, at Stag against her chest, basically.
Oof, what's this?
I found them. I can't find anything else, though. The library is oddly hostile to actually finding information inside of it.
But this is... And Stag sees the image of Kleka, and, like, her face, I think, tightens like a fist, and she, like, sticks her head out into the hallway, looks left, looks right, and then if X will not dodge, will grab you by your shirt and pull you into her room and, like, pull the door shut. You were just looking for this openly in the library? Did anyone see you do this or search for this?
Why would they? I'm always in the library. I'm a poetry major.
That's true. Wait, did you just tear this out of a book?
Yes. That's how you check them out, if you don't want the whole book.
That's absolutely not how libraries work, but I'm glad you didn't actually check it out, because it'd be bad if people could see on record you were looking for this sort of thing. Don't tell Baru or any of those nerdy types about this, okay? They might have a, what's it called? Constipation.
Conniption.
Yeah, that's the word. So, what does this mean? This is from 10 years ago? And Stag's gonna look down. Does she recognize any of the other faces as alumni?
Give me a history check.
Okay. I have a flat 0 to that, baby!
Hey, yo.
That's a 17.
17? So they're not anybody, you haven't been at Strixhaven for 10 years, so it's someone you would recognize personally. But just from, like, I think, like, local renown, maybe a couple of them, you know, since they were and I think they were the champions of the Battle of Strixhaven, which is an event that only happens every 10 years. So,
and what is that?
It's like just like and they use the big stadium and they get the best players chosen by faculty and staff.
Event?
Yeah, the best players versus a team of the other best players. So like the top, 10 students at Mage Tower in the past decade, and have them verse each other. And these were the winners. So I think there is like some local renown for that as much as there would be for like a college sport.
Sure. No, that makes sense. Like, oh, Grabowski scored the winning touchdown back in '97 and people are still talking about it or
That's
something.
right. Oh, Grabowski.
Okay. Grabowski. So is there a Grabowski I recognize that's still alive?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, wait. I see what you're saying. You haven't heard of them. It doesn't seem like they've gone on to do anything else notable.
That's
that
fine.
you're
That's fine.
Remembering, but one of them is named Grabowski.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I think that's the one Stag fixates on because that's the face they remember. And if the picture is like titled with their names at the bottom or something, because sometimes they capture the pictures, right?
I think it has a little name list at the bottom. It's just very small print.
Wait, I know this one.
Also, Kleka looks normal, fine,
Any bald patches on their head?
Their feathers are fully intact. Their beak is fully intact. Their eyes are like a little sunken, but they're not deranged or milked over. Sorry, I said milked. So yeah, just a note on that.
I recognize this one. Yeah. What's Grabowski's first name?
Gerald.
GG.
Gerald Jeremy
It's
Jabowski.
It's Gerald with a J.
The fourth.
Oh my god. Okay, sure. Gerald Grabowski. Yeah, this guy was a living legend, I guess, next to Kleka. Huh, Kleka still got all his feathers in this one. I think Gerald still lives near campus. We could probably even go talk to him if we really needed to.
I think that would be a good idea. I brought it because you said your fathers had connections. I was wondering if they'd be able to give any insight into this event, see if there was any footage from the match that we could watch to see if something happened.
Right, yeah, that's a really good idea, actually. They know all kinds of people, you know. One of my dads probably has a connection with an archivist, you know, a far-flung corner of Arcavios who does have match footage. Though this was a pretty famous match, so I bet a lot of people would have that kind of data. And you get the sense... actually, just based on kind of how Stag's waffling, you get the sense that she's reluctant to reach out to her dads. Like, she hasn't said, yeah, I'll do it, even though she did say, like, under the moon arch that she would. And it's been 2 weeks.
Have they given you any other information? Do you need more?
Oh, yeah. You know, I just haven't... They're both really busy, so schedules haven't really lined up yet. You know, the stars haven't exactly knocked themselves into perfect alignment for a meeting with the fathers.
I didn't think you were the type of person to wait to do the things that you wanted to do.
I'm not waiting. I'm just, you know, there's a good time and a place. You know, strike when the iron's hot. And the iron isn't super hot right now. We just gotta heat it up.
Then I suggest we begin to heat it up.
Like now?
Yes, like now.
Okay, yeah, but yeah, you know, what if the iron is kind of cold? It doesn't like being heated up, and you know, double-edged, cuts pretty deep if you handle it wrong, ask the wrong questions, you know, show up late, or have, you know, bad grades. The iron is kind of mean.
Are you afraid?
Huh? Oh, no, what? No, I'm not scared of anything, really. It's just, they can be intense, and I've only asked them for 2 things in my life. Like, real things, and not, you know, regular stuff like, can we have steak for dinner or whatever? That's normal. I mean, like, real things that I've asked for, and I worry this would, you know, count on the tally, because they keep a tally of the things I ask for, and then they ask me for data to follow up how things are going after I ask them for the things, and if things are doing poorly, then that's a tally in the don't give Stag things, let her figure things out, and if it does well, then that's a tally, and then maybe we should support Stag column. They've got a whole formula. One of them developed it. The other one implements.
I see.
Mm-hmm.
Stag, If we're ever going to be able to sleep at night again,
We?
all of us,
Right, huh? Yeah, right. Mhm.
then I suggest. Fuck you, Connie. I'm running past it. This is the time to ask. I need you to ask. If you don't, our time here runs out faster and faster and faster.
Got it. And this is directly related to how you took care of things down there, right?
Yes.
All right, I'll stop putting it off. You know what? I'll even ring up right now. I'll schedule a meeting with the pops, with the old men. All right. And Stag goes over to, like, her desk and pulls out from where she'd hid it behind, like, weights and cunningly hidden songbooks, which are just like she would take out like a sheet of parchment and put it over the cover of a songbook and write history on it in like Sharpie to make it look like it was a history book. And from behind this stack of stuff, she pulls out a communication device that one of her dads had given her before she went off to college, even in undergrad. And this is the main nexus of communication for them. I think it would be like a stone lion that has like a little orb under its paw, and when the device is active, the orb like lights up blue and they're able to talk. It's just voice. So she pulls out this little stone lion, glances over at X. You don't have to stay for this. It's, I'm probably only gonna get the butler anyway.
Okay. If you're sure.
Mm-hmm.
Good luck. And
Thanks.
X slips out the door.
And you're not going to tell anyone else that this is my first time reaching out to my dad's in the 2 weeks, right?
No. Just do what you can.
Yeah.
Soon, please.
Okay, yes, I'm gonna right now, got the lion out and everything. Thanks for coming to me with this information. If you ever want to talk, because I know things are really difficult right now, and it feels like there's no one will be able to tell any of this to except for each other, so I'm here.
I'll be back soon and see how the conversation went. I just need to take Baru lunch.
Okay, yeah, all right, sounds good. Oh, hey, I think it's omelet night tonight. If you could just grab an extra omelet on your way back.
Okay.
I just need a lot of protein. So if like a 12 egg omelet, pretty simple, just all the works. Peppers, mozzarella, Parmesan, pepper jack cheese. Obviously salt and regular pepper.
Okay.
Gouda. Connie is failing to come up with more cheeses, but Stag rattles off a bunch of cheese.
Okay, I'll get it with everything. I'll put everything on it.
Thanks. And mushrooms, too.
Yes, every mushroom, every cheese. And X kind of wanders out of the room.
Thanks,
away.
X. All right. And Stag sort of closes the door again. And her face is still kind of like red, presumably from the workout earlier. And she uses the towel to sort of mop off the back of her neck. And she sits very stiff-backed in front of this stone lion with the orb. Here we go. And she taps it on the head.
Does it make a sound? Like ringing?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
What's it say?
It purrs.
I think.
Oh, it purrs.
Yes, I love that. It purrs like the. Yes, that.
Yes.
Whatever noise you want to make, Vana.
Absolutely. So that starts ringing, and you kind of hold your breath, and then a familiar voice picks up. Okay, here's a quick question. Is this sort of like an open line, or is the only person who would call them on this line you?
It would only be me, but
Okay.
if they're both out, then I think one of the butlers or maids would
Okay.
answer.
Okay. So someone picks up and they go, Stag, what's wrong?
Do I recognize the voice?
Yeah, it is your Zuo dad.
Okay, Yangsheng. Okay, Yangsheng. Okay. Hey, father. I just wanted to check in. Nothing's wrong. I just have some updates for you academically.
Okay,
I
couldn't,
will
you
go-
couldn't
yes.
add them to your chart. Why did you need to call?
It's because I'm running into a little bit of a roadblock. I could unblock it myself, but I think it would be more efficient if I had a little bit of your help.
You know how I feel about stepping in. On
I
your
know,
work.
I know. Yes, I know. You wanted me to be independent and to carve my own path and not ride off your coattails. I understand. But this one is less of a matter of independent creativity and more a matter of just lack of access to the right resources.
So, when you don't have the access, what should you do?
Forge a new path. And this is one of the paths I am exploring right now.
Mm.
That just seems the most efficient if you have the time.
Nepotism.
No, it's just, well, you are
Your
the-
father.
the project-
It's nepotism. Nepotism paths are for losers, Stag. Not for winners.
Yeah, I know. But this isn't, I don't want you to pull any strings to get me somewhere. I'm just looking for, it's a history thing. It's a lore hold thing. And I figured you might have some insight on this. And the project, it's not going to catapult me to the top of any sort of social whatever. Not like I even care about that. I do, but not like, can I just tell you about the project and you can decide if it's worth your time?
I will entertain this briefly.
Okay. Well, me, my thesis is on the great wars of Arcavios' past. And I'm writing a chapter in my thesis focused on the history of sport at Strixhaven. Sport as a performance that mirrors war, ways for us to create and explore our own culture through game making. And Stag looks quickly down at stuff she scrawled onto a piece of paper. Ludic methodologies. So there's this one particular event about 10 years ago. And what's the name of the event again? Like the Battle for Strixhaven?
Battle for Strixhaven.
Okay. The Battle for Strixhaven. There were a couple of very prominent players. Grabowski, Kleka. And I was wondering if...
Grabowski.
Yeah. Grabowski. You know him?
Yeah, so tragic.
Tragic?
I mean, yeah. He was obviously had a lot of potential.
Did he die or something?
Well, in a way, I suppose.
In a way? See, this is what I wanted to ask you about. We're coming up a little short, a little empty on some of this information about these players, and I thought maybe it'd be nice if I got like an actual quote from one of them, but I'm running into a couple of blocks reaching out to them.
Yeah, good luck with that. I mean,
what do you mean,
could
Father?
go talk to him. I don't know if he'd have much to say.
Oh, is he like in prison or something?
Something like that. He's at the Sanctuary of the Lost.
Do I recognize that?
Yeah, you recognize it. as a safe haven for those who have been permanently or semi-permanently affected by magic.
Oh. And I think Kleka's words of Strixhaven breaks things echoes through Stag's head. Oh. Well, maybe Grabowski's a dead end then. What about... And Stag just picks up the picture and starts rattling off names.
Oh, they're all there.
What? Wait, what?
Yeah, the whole team went in.
I never heard about this. Did the papers cover it up?
I don't know if it's a cover-up as much as it's not a very pretty thing to talk about, is it?
I see. Do you happen to know what caused this? I mean, they won and everything was great. Did this happen after graduation?
Sometime between the Battle of Strixhaven and the end of the year, I think. They had some theories, but the main one was some Aarakocra, I think.
Kleka?
I don't know, that kind of rings a bell.
I see. What was the theory about this Aarakocra?
Something about, I don't know, like somehow binding their souls to another object in order to transfer it to themselves. I don't know if that's actually what happened, or if it is, if he ever went through it. I mean, I've never heard of him again, but...
Haha. Oh, yeah. Wow, this guy sounds like a real piece of work. Sounds dangerous.
Well, you know, it's a theory.
Right. Of course. Well, thank you, Father. I think that's that's all the help I need tonight.
You know that sports are not the same as war, right?
Oh, I know. But the thesis is shaping up to be a monster, real long. You know, the supervisor says it's one of the longest theses she's ever encountered before.
Who's your supervisor again?
Who is it Lucille? Or is it someone else? Okay, can I just pick someone?
Yeah. You can also just make something up. That's fine.
It's Professor Marconian.
Marconian. Ugh.
Are you not a fan? I switched off Professor Frida after you said she was, well, you know.
I just have very high standards for my brood.
Well, of course. Marconian is good. He's been very... And Stag pauses. The first word that came to mind is lackadaisical. Like, I think maybe this professor just is kind of like hands off and just sort of is whatever. Flexible.
Well, sometimes a lot of flexibility is not a good thing. A good soldier needs rigidity, a path forward.
Yes, routine, discipline, honor.
Maybe I should come have a talk with Marconian. I didn't realize you had switched advisors.
No, that's not necessary. You do not have to come to Strixhaven. Please do not. You don't have to. Everything's fine. Everything is okay. Under control.
I think Arcadium was going to make a visit regardless, so I might as well come through.
Wait, really? For what?
Oh, you know, his pet project, young Barugash.
Oh, he didn't say he was coming. I would have tried to get lunch with him or something.
Well, he wasn't coming to see you, so I don't know why he would tell you.
Right. I just figured if he was in the area, you know, the mountains are so far away. But I get it. You're busy. They're both busy. You're both busy.
We are busy. You think an empire runs itself?
No, of course not, Father. But I don't want to waste any more of your precious time. Pestering you with questions about brass tacks and details. I can figure out the rest myself.
One more question.
Of course.
Are you going to be in attendance at our Ascension Ball?
I wouldn't miss it for the world.
Because the last few soirees we've thrown, you've been a bit absent.
I've been busy.
It's difficult to keep up appearances when I don't have anything to show for your father and I's hard work.
My deepest apologies, Father. I don't mean to embarrass you.
I don't think embarrassment quite covers it.
I don't mean to disappoint you, then.
Semantics. Just be there. It is
Yes.
a celebration of your imminent rise, so it would be a bit fruitless if you were not in attendance.
Right, of course. I will absolutely 100% definitely be there.
And you'll need a date.
What?
You heard me. I'm not going to have you walking around looking like some sort of abandoned dog.
I'm not. What do you? A date?
Yes. Are you familiar with the word stag?
Yes, Father. Yes, I've been on dates, but no one's stuck. Career comes first.
Right.
Are there any specifications for this date?
You want me to give you specifications for the date you should bring?
Well, not like height and major or it's anything like that. I just mean, is I don't want to.
Some notoriety would be preferred, and somebody
Okay.
who can look, approachable.
Presentable.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Not
Yes.
like Celia.
Yes, of course.
You don't talk to her anymore, right?
Who the okay, I'm just gonna roll with it. No, we had a bit of a falling out.
Good.
Right. Well,
Goodbye,
okay,
Stag.
I will. What? Oh, okay. Bye.
Click.
That was one of the better ones.
And I think that will come from that scene. Sorry, Connie. I started throwing stuff in there.
Roll with it.
You said you had dated people, so I was like, I'm throwing out an ex-partner or lover.
No,
or
I love it.
something.
I love it. I just thought you said like celiac, like celiac disease or
yeah.
something. So I was like,
Nobody who can't eat gluten, please don't bring any gluten intolerant people.
they're serving only pasta appetizers.
to help with their stomach issues. Okay, that was amazing. We're going to take our break now. During the break, please check out our sponsors. Check us out on Twitter at StrixHigherEd, and use the hashtag HigherEdRPG if you want to share some comments about the show or some art or what have you on the social medias. We'll see you back here in about 10-ish minutes. Goodbye. So we just left Stag after a call, a good call with their dad, with one of their dads. And other things have gone on throughout the weeks after the incident. And we're going to kind of jump around in time. Baru and Jaisha, the two of you are sort of working on experiments and devices to help out with covering up your, supposed crimes. Hypothetical crimes. Crimes is such a strong word. Errors, mistakes. When do you think in the time period after the incident that maybe y'all would come together to work on those or discuss the progression, etc.?
With how paranoid Jaisha has been, I don't think Ray waits very long at all. I think that it is a matter of days before Jaisha, after having thrown themselves into this new project, into this memory-altering mutagen, that they will eventually, when X finds him, administer to Kleka. I think they realize they hit a snag somewhere along the way, and they realize that Ray doesn't have the materials nor all of the knowledge necessary in order to complete their project. And so they're going to go to the smartest person that they know, one of the only people that they can trust in this case as well. And I think we find Jaisha very hurriedly, trying not to look suspicious, but probably looking a little bit nervous, a little bit too nervous, walking very, very quickly down towards Baru's workshop. And we see them, I think, like raising their hand to like knock on the door.
And exactly parallel to this, I think Baru's reached a point where they've got the molten metal ready for the ring. They have the silence spell ready to use for the actual crafting. And they're looking over some of the schematics, more arcane schematics, what's needed to make the actual magic work, and realize that they're missing a fairly key component. And they can't speak to one of the people. Well, at the very least, I think they're socially aware enough to know that one of the people they need to speak to doesn't want to speak to them. So they're going to find Jaisha instead and see what they can do. So they walk towards the door hurriedly, checking their pockets to make sure they have everything, and then rush to the door and open it just before Jaisha is able to knock.
Oh,
Jaisha, I was actually looking for you. This is perfect.
same.
Oh.
Can we talk inside? I don't think it's wise to.
Yeah. Don't mind the mess.
That's okay.
Yeah. And I open the door.
Jaisha steps inside. What do I see? What does your workshop look like?
Yeah, so I don't know. Do you think Jaisha's been in? Because Baru would let anyone who wants to come into the workshop, Baru would let them come in. So do you think Jaisha has ever wanted to come into their workshop?
I think so, for sure. Given that the two of them have this sort of like almost business relationship in terms of like swapping materials and stuff like that, I think it makes sense that Jaisha has been here before.
So you'd know that like usually it is messy, but it's kind of like a controlled mess, like an organized mess. You know, she knows what pile contains what kind of vibe. But I think here it's become disorganized. It's very clear that it's become disorganized. There's even just signs of living here as well. Very clear signs of living here, like way too many cups and plates on the workshop table that's usually set out for the tools and equipment that she's using. There's definitely it's definitely really warm in here because you can see the forge is going on and none of the windows have been opened or anything like that, which is usually their practice to do for both safety and just for comfort. But for some reason, they haven't done that recently. They themselves kind of look a bit of a mess. They look exhausted, like they haven't slept. Star seems not unfinished, but you can tell that they broke Star down but haven't put Star back together yet. And that's very rare because usually when they do have to break Star down for whatever maintenance, they very quickly and very efficiently put them back together again as soon as possible. but they seem to have not done that. And they turn to you. What did you need me for?
Is it safe to keep the windows closed like this when the forge is going?
Yeah, most of the fumes go up the kind of chimney, but if it's more comfortable, I can open the windows to at least cool.
No.
Down.
No. People might hear us. Yes. What I needed you for, Baru, is and Jaisha like turns to their like pouch and they open it and they will find the nearest surface on a table or a workbench or something that doesn't have stuff on it, which maybe is difficult to find.
Yeah, I don't think you find any, and Baru noticed you looking, so goes, "Oh no, let me help," and just like takes a pile of like papers and plates and stuff and just throws it onto another surface.
Yeah, I think Jaisha like takes note of all of the things, like all the fact that like Baru has been living here, the fact that everything's disorganized, but they I don't think they're in a space to like ask about it or anything, but they like kind of make a mental note that clearly Baru's not doing so well either. And Ray opens a rare pouch and like takes out a whole bunch of like vials. Some of them they all have like liquids of different consistencies, different viscosities and colors and whatnot, and just kind of like pours them out onto this table and then starts like sorting them. I have all of these materials, these ingredients that I normally use to make the mutagens, and I'm not used to working with anatomy that isn't my own, and I realized that I think I need your help. Not to experiment on, by the way. I should clarify. I have plans on. I'm going to find like undergrads to volunteer for my studies or something. Of course, credit.
Yeah. So, no, I can do what I can. I'm not terribly versed in alchemy, but I am versed in applying magical effects to work within, I guess, other substances and materials. So maybe I could see how I could do that.
You know better than I do about how to transfer sort of arcane energy through different materials, I guess is the best way to phrase it.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Are these just the separate ingredients now, or do you want to make one first, and I can see if I can work with that?
Well, I wanted to ask you. I wanted to ask you for your opinion on. Do you think that we're doing the right thing?
I don't know. I don't know. Honestly, it doesn't feel like the right thing. I haven't really been able to sleep or really work for the past few days. So I don't know.
I keep thinking, why make a mutagen to change Kleka's memory when we could maybe? What if it was for us instead? We can't get caught if we don't remember, right?
I think I would like to forget.
And I was thinking, your rings, they're meant to shield us from mind magic. And maybe if we combine the two somehow, the mutagen with the rings, a more powerful effect in tandem.
Okay.
No one would know, not even us.
Yeah. And maybe I'd be able to sleep. I'll need to redraw some of my schematics, but I think I already have some ideas. The ring itself, the material I use should be able to sustain and hold the magic fine.
Okay.
The spell scrolls I'll need to draw up might be different, but that won't take more than 10, 15 minutes. But I suppose we need to work on your mutagen first.
Do we need to wear the rings at all times in order for them to work?
Yes, I've already spent quite a bit on material for anything to be permanent, even without wearing the ring, would be quite a bit out of my budget.
Understandable. Just something for later is that if we forget everything, we might forget why we're wearing the rings, and well, we can't have that. So, something to think about for later, maybe. But for now, and I think Jaisha pushes a couple of the vials towards Baru. I think one of them is reminiscent of the kind of weird sludge slime substance that was in the sewers. It looks like Jaisha had took that material that Ray had bottled up when we were all down there, and sort of played with it, combined it with some other substances, and so it is a slightly thinner viscosity at this point, but it's still the same color. And then on the other vial is this shimmery clear kind of liquid that is creating a kind of kaleidoscopic effect around where the light kind of hits the vial, and it's creating this nice fractal dancing pattern on the table. These are the two materials. I'm pretty sure if we combine them, or I hope if we combine them, we'll be able to create the effect that is needed. My only concern is side effects for...
Yes. What have you documented? What kind of side effects happen or will happen if we do consume this, or is it still up in the air?
I put out a call on the research portal for volunteers, so I haven't actually had a chance to to test this on people yet that aren't me. And the problem is that I worry that any side effects that happen to me are going to be worse for everyone else. So we haven't tested it yet, but over the next couple of weeks, that's my plan.
Okay. Well, first I'll need to test out the arcane strengths of each of these, how much magic they can hold. The last thing I'd want is for me to pump too much into it and it just denatures everything in there.
Okay.
So I'll probably need to borrow these and test that out. But the idea I've thought about, and if you don't mind, you might need to pool our money together for this, but a scroll of modifying memory. If you want to make it, I could probably transcribe that into runes and convert and transfer the energy and magic of that into the vials to make sure that the modifying of memory sticks. As far as anything to do with the actual side effects, I can't do much until I know what they are, and then I could use runes and transfer the energy of that to counteract any. If you want to go all out and just cover all of the bases, a scroll of greater restoration is probably what we would need, and I can convert that. But that could be very expensive for if we end up needing, all we need to do is, I don't know, counteract the common cold, if that ends up being what the side effects are.
I don't have much, but I can help where I can with the resources. I don't know if it's useful at all. This might be kind of out there, but I can cast various psychic spells, but they hurt.
Actually, that's actually why I was looking for you. To finish off the ring, I need some more psionic energy. All of my magic is more arcane in nature, and I can't really do much on the psychic end of the spectrum without it. So that's why actually I was going to find you. Could I borrow you for some of that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, perfect. And Baru rushed past you and again clear workshop table and pull out almost like just a leather sheet. They can tell that there was they inked on a magic circle on, and they set it down on the ground and then cross their legs and pat the ground in front of them for you to sit.
Jaisha will sit down, kind of nervously crossing their legs, and their hands kind of like run along their thighs, just like instinctively out of nerves more than anything.
And from their side, they always carry a jar of a bottle of usually glowing like magical ink, but right now it's empty. And they pull out that jar and open the topper and set it in the middle of the circle, and just goes, "Okay, so what psychic spells do you know?"
Well, I mean, I can, and they cast message and finish the sentence inside of Baru's head. I can do this. I can talk to you this way.
Yes,
but I can also cast Mind Sliver and Mind Whip as well, depending on how much damage you're looking for.
I'll need you to... This is the thing that not many people are able to do. It takes a lot of practice. So if you can't, that's fine. I'll find someone. I can find someone else, hopefully. But can you begin to cast Mind Whip and then don't? Like, the way at least I envision casting magic is taking the unshaped fractal pieces of metal that we call the weave, and then melting it down and then forging it into another shape, like Mind Whip or Message. I need you to take the unworked metal of the weave, melt it down, but don't shape it. Just bring me that unshaped weave.
I can try. And I think Jaisha sort of like takes a deep breath in, takes a deep breath out, and Ray kind of like sits back on their sit bones, and they kind of like sink into themselves, and they try to pull at that part of their body, that part of themselves that has, like you said, this connection to whatever we would call this arcane energy around us. And as they do so, you can see that starting at their eye and going down along the crystal vitiligo that goes in the spiraling shape along their body, it starts to like almost glow as if like light is hitting the gems, the geodes in their skin, and it starts to sort of ease its way down across as Jaisha starts to cast. And because there's nobody else here at you, Baru, Mind Whip starts to cast it as it goes through. And as the spell starts to manifest, I think you can see these like quite literally these fractals, these fractal patterns starts to sort of manifest between the two of us. And it starts to shape itself into the form of like a vine, like a literal vine whip that starts to form in between the two of us. And partway through, Jaisha tries to stop the spell.
Arcana at disadvantage.
That is fair.
I'm so worried.
Can I pitch something?
Let's see what
It's
Hamna
still
roll.
like-
Okay, go ahead.
Because I guess it's because Jaisha is a charisma spellcaster. Can they roll the charisma, their spellcasting ability, rather than Arcana? Because obviously a wizard using Arcana and casting spell with intelligence is different to a sorcerer using charisma to spell.
I love you, Jack. My modifier for my spell attack and Arcana are the same.
Okay, never mind.
It's very sweet of you, though. What'd you get, Hamna?
I got a 10 if we're going with disadvantage. I rolled a 4 plus 6.
That's unfortunate.
How much damage?
Well, I don't know. I kind of want to I want Hamna to tell me what goes wrong. Because I think a lot of things could go wrong when you're trying to like keep magic in a midway state, right? Between releasing it and holding it. So I think either something bad needs to happen to you or Baru or the space. And you can tell me what. But this backfires in some way, for sure.
Okay, above the table, Drac.
Yes.
Are you ready
How
to
would you-
die?
No. How would you feel about there being some sort of lasting damage to Star?
Oh,
You can say no if you're like not cool with it.
I mean, I suppose it depends on what the damage is. Like physical damage, I think that's fine. If it's like an intrinsic arcane damage, where something like will forever malfunction, arcanely with Star, probably not.
What if it was a temporary malfunction? So not permanent. It is fixable.
Yeah, no, I'm down for that.
Okay. So I think this the spell starts to continues to go, and Jaisha tries their best to stop it, to undo the weaving, this melding, this sewing of magic together, this creation of rock and dirt together, but they're not able to. They can't seem to stop it. It just keeps going, like they've lost control, like they've pushed a domino, and now the effect is just going and going and going. And I think Bray looks up and they can see that whip starting to form, and it is about to make contact with Baru, who is the initial target of this spell. And Jaisha panics. And I think Ray just shifts immediately, tries to find any other target for the spell that they can. And the only target that they can think of, the only one that potentially exists in this room, is Star. And so I think you can see it, Baru, like the whip, like you can see it come in between your eyes as if it's going to hit you. And then it does it, and it pivots towards wherever Star is in the room. And it wraps around Star, and because it's a psychic spell, I don't think Star actually suffers any physical damage. It doesn't look like Star has been damaged in any way, but you can see the magic. You can see it constricting Star's body. And I think there's this sound of glass breaking as the spell makes contact with Star.
All of that happened, but I think if I can add to this, because I did say Star's been dismantled, I think he probably attacked a thing that you didn't know was part of Star, and it's a almost like glass canister. I think it's like an upside down glass jar that's faintly glowing, glowing a bit gold in the center of it with a metal base, and you probably strike that, and that's the glass that shatters. And Baru whips around and goes, "Oh, okay.
I'm so sorry."
No, it's fine. I'll check.
Be
I'll
okay.
check that later. I think I can. It doesn't. It should be repairable. I hope. Let's do this first. No, it's okay. It takes a while to get used to that. I think I can probably. I can think I'll speak to someone else. Unless, do you want to try again?
No, I can.
Or...
I can do it. I can do it.
Okay.
And I think maybe the rest of the time that Baru and Jaisha spend together is them sort of practicing this. And I don't know how many other times they fail. I don't know how many other times, how many tries it takes. But I think they kind of, because Jaisha, if it's okay with you, Baru, is very singular minded about this and would not stop until unless Baru was seriously protested, would not stop until they got it right, until it was done and correct and we had a way forward.
Yeah, and I think at some point Baru would be like, okay, just give me a quick second and just remove every valuable item away and hide in a closet at some point. And I think as they're doing, they probably will check in on the piece of Star that had been shattered by the original mind whip. And I think they'll be able to gather that it's done some damage that they'll have to figure out and work with. But right now I think they're not too worried about it because I think it's something. I mean, actually, Vana, is it something within their wheelhouse to fix?
High or low? Don't ask the teacher about homework. What are you talking about?
High.
It was so close, but it is in your wheelhouse.
Okay. Yeah, so I think seeing that it is within my wheelhouse to fix, I just sigh and just go, honestly, it's fine. I actually needed to add some more. I recently got my hands on an arcanic capacitor that will help with, honestly, taking hits from direct magic attacks. So thank you for pointing out the flaw that I already knew about, and then put everything away. I then would get back to helping out Jaisha with the magic. And I think they'll show them themselves how they do it, because what Sparrow would say is that I actually need to combine my, for lack of a better term, molten weave with yours. The way we break it down will be different, and we need to combine it to make what's necessary for this ring. This is how I do it anyway. Usually helps if you have a focus and they pull on the earring and remove it and kind of twirl in their fingertips. And usually when they do that, it forms into a shape of some kind of tool, like a hammer or a screwdriver or a wrench, something like that. But it loses all consistency entirely. It almost becomes like just like a non-Newtonian fluid, I guess. Like it doesn't drip, but it still
mercury?
flows. Yeah, like mercury, actually. That's such a really good way to put it. Like mercury in their palm. And they close their eyes and take a deep breath, and you see all of the snakes in their hair do the same. And behind Baru's eyelids and behind each of the snake's eyelids glows a gold. And it drips from their eyes like golden tears. And before they can hit the ground, they stop and all float towards and float above the molten tool earring that they had just used this for.
Not to be gay on main, but I'm gonna do. I imagine this is like mind melding Steven Universe like dance kind of thing, like going on in this scene where Jaisha like watches Baru do this and sort of like picks up on the rhythm of the magic around Baru and takes that and starts to metaphorically dance with Baru, and their own magic, I think, starts to come out in these fractals as well, and sort of like melds around with the molten lava of Baru's magic. And I think it's through this process that Jaisha learns over time, throughout however long it takes us to get through this whole thing, how to successfully stop their magic partway through.
And from there, they very quickly, as fast as they can anyway, capture the two essences in this bottle, in this jar. That was honestly pretty good. Honestly, did better than I did when I first figured it out. I shattered many very valuable things in the workshop I was learning how to do this at. So you actually, maybe you should try this. Have you ever thought about more of a mechanical way of thinking about things? Have you ever done anything? Have you tried combining this with your alchemy?
No, honestly, I've always been very biologically focused, organic. I never really thought about this, but you're a great teacher.
Thank you. I was the one that kind of taught my little brother a lot of this stuff, so I had like a lot of experience.
Didn't know that you had a brother.
Yes, yeah. I have a little brother and older sister. I think my little brother's actually should be in Strixhaven. This is going to be their first year.
Oh, well, we should, once we've dealt with all of this, we should hang out with them sometime.
They're very busy, so maybe if they have time.
Yeah.
But I will get to work on how I can help you out with the mutagens. I'll figure out a way to get my hands on a modify memory spell scroll. Have you talked to everyone else about this idea of modifying our memories?
Not yet. I was thinking that maybe when we all get together today, when we meet in Cirro's Bog, that we could talk about it then.
Yeah, I think that's probably best.
Anyway, I should probably get going.
Yeah, I need to smelt this into the metal anyway.
If you need anything else, you know where to find me. And
Yeah.
Baru, come home sometime, maybe?
When I'm finished with the work I need to do, I will.
Okay. And Jaisha exits the workshop.
And Baru just gets to work to infuse this magic into the metal.
Is Stars stuffed in a closet right now?
Stars pieces, yes.
Man, she's like, I thought I already came out of here. Cirro,
Yeah.
I would think intermittently throughout the week, you have to keep up appearances, right?
Of course.
And maintain your social status. So I think there are several times when you go out to socialize with your fellow academics. Where on one of these occasions, when and where do you think Cirro goes?
Ooh, there's like the Bosun Tavern, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, that's like a hot spot on campus. So I think after gosh, I think like after a session of working out in the bog with a couple of other like Witherbloom grad students, we all are like, oh, let's get lunch and head over to the tavern.
Okay, perfect.
Mhm.
Yeah, so in the afternoon, it's pretty
Yes.
full. It's pretty full. A lot of people have breaks in their courses during this time and are grabbing the famous luncheon
Yes.
at the Bosun Tavern because of course Chef Curdy Axchucker never makes the same dish twice and is renowned for their passion for cooking, sometimes to the point of sort of overdoing it in a borderline dangerous way due to the magic that they use in their cooking.
Oh, okay.
So you roll up. What would you like to eat?
Oh, whatever the special is. Like you don't go to the Bosun Tavern. I'm gonna add people right now. You don't go to the Bosun Tavern and get chicken tendies. You get whatever the like hot meal of the day is.
Yes, of course. And that is always referred to as Curdy's special.
Yes.
And it costs 2 silver pieces.
All right.
And you get something delivered on a tray. And everything always comes with like a huge chunk of bread, like freshly baked bread on the side.
Delicious.
And it's fresh to the point where like when you break it open, like a little bit of steam rolls out. And then the bowls are like cauldron-esque. And it's some sort of like spring stew. So very like light but hearty in proteins. And when you drink it, there's like a little tickling in your nose, some sort of residual from whatever magic it has been used to make it / infused with. So you're sitting down. Did you have anyone in mind who you'd be dining with, or is it more like you sit at the bar and whoever sits down sits down?
I think I know that Aurora Winterstar is another Witherbloom student. So I think our bogs are right next to each other. So Cirro would definitely invite Aurora, especially since she is kind of the campus it girl. You can't listen. I know my Strixhaven NPCs.
You live Strixhaven in a day.
That's me, baby. That being said, I can't think of any of the other. Oh, Mulethorn, I think is a Witherbloom student, the Dryad. Anyway, basically all the Witherbloom hotties, we're all there together.
Okay, perfect. Awesome. Well, I think you get your food first, and Aurora sits down next to you, and your other companions are sort of dawdling a bit around the tavern because they're like seeing people that they know and going over to talk to them, and sort of being a little wishy-washy on what they want to order for the afternoon. And of course, our Dryad has particular dietary restrictions. So
yeah, just along for the ride, honestly.
So you're sitting there, and Aurora's like playing with her food. She has a small spoon that she's swirling around in it, and she goes, Cirro.
Yes.
Cirro.
Yes.
What's new with Cirro?
Oh, what's new with me? And I think Cirro's like very methodically, but trying to play it off as like casual fidgeting, ripping their bread into smaller pieces because you got to dunk the bread into the delicious stew.
That's right.
That's the only way to eat it. So I think they're like doing that as they're talking, and just, just studying and trying to get it's just so much, you get so busy, all the courses, all the units, but trying to keep my head above water, not too much. What about you?
I guess some of the same, although I've been taking part in some extracurriculars.
Oh, tell me more. Tell me everything, actually.
I don't know. I'm not one for kissing and telling.
Well, you never, ever, ever have to worry about me. Who am I going to tell?
Oh, I thought you meant kissing you.
Oh. I mean, you're the one that brought it up.
I misunderstood your implications.
I can be clear.
Okay.
I think Cirro does laugh and just, but why don't you tell me about your activities first, and then we can continue that conversation.
You're no fun. Well, I've just been busy with my work and my dissertation, some side projects. I have been a bit preoccupied recently, though.
Oh.
And she like leans in on
I
her
lean
hand
in too.
closer to, and she goes, I haven't seen Chorus since the Mage Tower match.
That's odd. Where do you think he could be? Like, what do you think? I saw him run off, but
I don't know. I mean, I was unconscious.
right.
I still looked okay though, right?
And you look amazing all the time.
Thank you. And he's been a bit of a truant recently, if you catch my meaning.
Mm-hmm.
But it's been a while now. It seems a bit exacerbated, his absence.
Not to be presumptuous, but when you were talking about kissing and telling, does Chorus fit into that at all, or?
I mean, we have our moments.
Right.
You have seen him, right?
No, Aurora, I'm so sorry. Not anytime recently.
No, I meant you've looked at him, right?
Oh, yes, not my cup of tea, but I love this for you.
And what is your cup of tea, Cirro?
We're not talking about me.
Because if it's not chiseled jawline and a 8-pack, then I don't understand.
He's a little short for me.
You're 4 feet tall.
Cirro sits up so straight, which is very tall for a fairy. Aurora, I don't know how many times I have to tell you this.
I'm aware, but to have any sort of standards of how, I mean, what was he? 3 feet on you?
I like my men a certain kind of way, Aurora.
Men.
Listen, when it comes to men, you have to have the highest standards possible. It's how you weed out most of the population. Everyone else, any other identity, open season.
I think you're really thinning the pool with those metrics.
Well, I think Cirro sits back, grabs her like a glass of definitely sparkling water, and just listen. All you should be worried about is whether you make the cut or not, which you do, of course. So,
Well, you said it then.
I did.
But if all it took was not being a man, I don't really feel very accomplished.
You'd be shocked. You'd be shocked how many people can't pass that bar. It's a bare minimum. Anyway, enough about me and my standards and more about you and Chorus. So you have no clue. I mean, I can ask around, but
I mean, you are connected.
yes. But I mean, Aurora, if you're just feeling lonely.
I'm not lonely, Cirro. I'm bothered.
Listen, like you said, Chorus was being a bit of a truant. He's probably off, I don't know, gallivanting from island to island on a little trip, whatever he is into.
I really want to believe that, but with the Ascension approaching and his goals, it doesn't make sense. It's like walking away from the thing you've been working for.
Sometimes people can't hack it. Sometimes certain people can't take the pressure.
Sometimes they can't.
Aurora, greatness is rare because very few people can achieve it. If everybody could be great, nobody would.
These all feel a bit like platitudes, Cirro.
What can I do to make you feel better then? You're my friend, and I want you to feel better.
Well, there's a lot of things you could do to make me feel better.
Okay.
But I don't want to feel better. I just want to know. Listen, let's drop it. There's nothing either of us can do about it. And if Chorus is going to show back up, he's going to show back up. And if he's not, then I don't know. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
Right. But if you do want to feel better, just let me know.
Well, you'll have to get in line. So what are your theories about what happened at the Mage Tower game?
I have no clue. I mean, I do have one particular notion, but it's more of a course of study than anything else. Have you ever, I don't think there's any work or research done on how the Ascension affects creatures. We know that god beasts exist, but what is the correlation and how does that happen? And I don't know, there's this inkling in the back of my mind that maybe that's what the purple worm was about.
I mean, certainly there's been reports of a change in behavior, but never violent or destructive.
What kind of reports have you heard?
Oh, I don't know. You know, creatures and animals and beasts not of the area are drawn to the star arches as they sort of grow in frequency and vibration. I mean, it's sort of like a call or a whistle, right?
A whistle. Yeah. That makes sense.
As far as I know, it's never been a force of destruction and more one of curiosity. And I don't think that worm was curious of anything.
No, but it did move backwards.
Backwards?
Backwards.
What do you mean?
Well, the nature of purple worms, they only move forward. It went back into its hole.
How do you know that?
I examined, well, you were taken to the infirmary. I examined the hole after this purple worm went back down. I wasn't permitted to go down and explore further, but...
You wanted to go down there?
Aurora, you... Cirro clenches their fist, not because they're frustrated, but more just hold themselves back from nerding out and just, Aurora, you know that that purple worms are incredible sources of fertilization.
Sure. You wanted to chase after the worm and collect its shit.
What course of study does Aurora do? Is it life or death?
It's death.
I don't want to hear it from the girl who crushes beetles for magic.
Well, you'd get a lot more out of the worm if you crushed it than collecting its shit.
That's not what I'm interested in.
That's fine.
Anyway,
but
the point
it is
is
gross.
God. Me, Liv the player, working my very best not to fucking hate Aurora Winter so hard.
She's not being that terrible, is she?
No. This is a me thing.
Oh.
This is 100% a me thing. Cirro just kind of raises a brow and clears their throat. I'm just saying I don't want to hear about disgusting while you still have warm guts under your nails. But that's just me.
She looks at her nails and starts picking at them. And then she goes, well, you know what I heard?
What did you hear?
I heard it was a test.
A test?
Yeah, some of the professors to test the advanced studies students. I mean, think about it. That's the only people that were there that day. I wonder if we passed. I don't imagine I did.
Well, it's fine. You're an incredible student in other respects.
A little harsh, though, if true.
Incredibly harsh. Incredibly dangerous. I mean, I understand it's Strixhaven, but goodness.
I mean, people have died before.
I suppose. People get hurt.
Someone goes too far.
People don't stop. And then...
Poof.
And I'm going to look at Aurora as I say, yeah, broken. And see if that, triggers anything from her.
Give me an insight check.
Okay. Yeah. 12.
You do see a twinkle pass over her eye, but you're not sure if it's a twinkle of knowing or a twinkle of Aurora loving the idea of something breaking.
That's so fair. That is literally her bag. God. And I think Cirro tries to turn this in a more like jovial conversation and just, okay, but which professor do you think was sick and twisted enough to come up with an idea like that?
I think it could be any one of them.
I mean, it does scream of Witherbloom. Purple worm.
But maybe they did that to throw us off.
True, true.
I think you have to have some sort of ego issue to be a professor dean at this school. To think you are worthy of shaping the minds of a new generation.
Some of the most powerful minds, too, I would agree.
Maybe that got sick of it. Watching us outpace them. They wanted to teach us a lesson.
You know, I hear that Professor Lochiel always does the bare minimum. Doesn't want to teach, doesn't want to grade. Seems kind of resentful.
Seems like a lot of work for someone who doesn't want to do any work.
That's true. A professor that's maybe overworked, underpaid.
So all of them?
Okay, fair. Don't blame me. Listen, I'm trying to work through this.
What all are you working through, Cirro?
The purple worm and why somebody would do that to us. But I suppose it's not that big of a concern. I mean, gosh, I already have so much work on my plate.
And what you're working through, it has nothing to do with your recent coldness towards Stag?
Coldness.
I usually see you biting at our heels.
Aurora, do you have roommates?
No.
It's a roommate thing. Sometimes you just live with the person too much. You just, bad heads. That's all.
Dirty laundry.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you work it out.
I appreciate that.
How's Jaisha?
Why do you ask?
Just curious.
If you want to know about Jaisha, I think you should ask them.
Maybe I will.
I'm sure Ray would appreciate it very much. I don't want to say anything, but you are a popular girl and you do have a lot of fans.
I'm aware.
Hmm.
And I'm not as choosy as you.
I just stick to the best.
And you're saying Jaisha is not the best?
Jaisha is the best, but I don't see them that way.
Oh, so you and Jaisha.
Oh, no. Friends. Strictly friends.
Just roommates.
Roommates, so be my guest.
Well, I have to go, but if you wouldn't mind delivering a message to Rem.
Absolutely.
Tell them I'd love to meet up for a drink sometime.
My absolute pleasure.
You're a darling. And she stands up and takes her tray and goes to leave it at the cleaning station.
Okay. When she's gone, can I use one of my features?
Sure.
So, as a warlock, I have many eldritch invocations, and I specifically have Far Scribe. So, I think it's fair to say I can write up to 3 names, and I think it's fair to say that Jaisha is one of them. Like, I think at some point, Cirro cornered Jaisha and was like, "Write your name in my book." Um, so, I think after Aurora's gone, this also allows me to cast Sending without any components or spell slots or anything. So after Aurora's gone, I will cast Sending to Jaisha and just say, "I have news to share with you."
Amazing. And where in the like time period after the incident do you think this happened?
Ooh, I'd probably say a couple of weeks, maybe like 2, 3. I feel like if your hookup buddy disappeared on you, 2 weeks would be enough for you to be like, "So what's going on?"
Yeah, I think maybe even like a week or a week and a half would probably be enough. Okay. Well, then let's jump back to 2 days after the incident. In the evening, when all of you are scheduled to meet up at Cirro's essentially studio space in the Sedgemoor Bog. And the area there is basically just swampland, but then there are a series of well-maintained planked wooden pathways that go through all these different chunks of the swamp, and students are often assigned one or assigned to share one. Cirro's borders Aurora's, for example, and then there's usually a number of like outbuildings at the end of those walkways. So they're sort of in the deepest parts of the swamp, held up by stilts, and those are typically used for like workshops or storage spaces or observation stations. So Cirro, is there anything you kind of want to add to how maybe Cirro has customized this area for her, or anything she's added or removed?
Yeah, I think like if you saw Cirro passing down the halls, you would look at them and their whole style and aesthetic and think that their bog would just be this like perfectly cultivated, quite literally a fairy core, like just little garden with hedges and stuff. I think it's absolutely fucking feral. Like this looks like nature has overcome and just risen up. I think it's full of like nasty gnarls and vines, and there's like different fungi and mushrooms growing everywhere. I think the only thing that's relatively aesthetically pleasing is there's almost like a fairy tale-esque shed. Like it looks like a fairy tale cottage. And that's like the only thing that's very aesthetic and cute, but otherwise it just looks like life is ever abundant and unruly in this portion of Cirro's bogs, with like deep greens bursting out, and like I said, the different fungi splashing in colors, and herbs and plants that might possibly be poisonous, but also some that heal. It's just a big old mess. I don't think it's nearly as orderly as 1, other people's bogs, or 2, Cirro's own space, because Cirro's space is very clean and organized. So I think when you walk into the bog, you're like, what is going on here? And I think it's just because like Cirro is letting their plants just thrive, and even when they die, it's just repeating that cycle of life, and previous plants like give life to the others that are coming up around it. I'm so sorry. I don't know enough about plants to actually name things, but I think it's really cool.
Oh
I think
no,
it just
yeah,
looks
that
cool.
was perfect. Is in the cottage where y'all sort of meet, or is there a different spot you would kind of usher everyone to?
I think we can meet in the cottage. In the cottage, there's definitely a first of all, so sorry, Stag. I do think it's kind of small. Like it's very big for Cirro, but again, Cirro's like 4 feet tall. So Stag, I think, has to like duck down when they come through. And then I think there's like a workstation and a bunch of tools set aside, and I think there is a little table with a couple of like a chair or two, and just like a small little tea set and a place where Cirro can have refreshments while they're working. And as Cirro goes in, they immediately start apologizing, like, I'm sorry, I don't usually have people here. It's usually just me. I'm sorry that there's not enough seats. And we'll like flit over and sit on top of their workstation so that their friends can hopefully fit a bit more comfortably. I don't really use this place to host, but welcome.
Thank you.
Whoa, it's really fungusy.
It's beautiful.
Thank you. My you said this is like a day or two after, right?
After the incident, yeah.
Yeah. So Cirro like shoots a look at Stag and just, not that I think we've ever talked about my research, but it is about the life-giving aptitudes and abilities of plants. So.
It's. I don't have anything. Go ahead.
It's very wet, X says positively.
Oh yeah, it was it's a bog. So Cirro gets by because they got to fly through. But I think most of the time when you go into the bog, you gotta go fully in like galoshes or whatever, just like really get ready to get dirty. Cause it's gross, it's wet, it's damp. So yeah, I think Cirro just stares at that and just
And damp.
Yeah. So,
thank you.
maybe we can talk about why we're here after we've established that it is quite wet.
I was just expecting something, I guess. And Stag looks at Cirro like with kind of like an appraising but not judgmental glint in her face. More, I don't know, you strike me as very, you like pretty things, right? And not that this isn't pretty, but it's a lot more naturalistic than I thought.
You expected this to look like something out of one of your little fairy tales that people tell you about princesses and princes.
Yes, exactly. Yes, you've got it.
Yeah. Not very realistic and honestly not very helpful. Those plants are just there for aesthetic purposes, not actual sustainable reasons.
I see. Well, you do a good job staying very dry and put together, given your environs.
They just flick their wings.
Stag, like, clearly meant that as a compliment. She's like looking at some, like, chanterelles or something.
Yeah,
hanging in a braid.
It's done.
What?
It's done.
Your
I took care of it.
nasty deeds and such.
Is there anything you need from us to make sure it stays done?
Well, we need to find Kleka, of course.
Right. Yeah. I'm on the whole talking to the dads thing. I've got that taken care of. I'm squaring it away.
This is what, a week and a half before Stag actually does it.
Yes. Yes.
Well, Baru and I have been working on our respective materials and things for that. Speaking of Kleka, when we find Kleka and deal with them, I was thinking that, I don't know about the rest of you, but this has been very difficult for me personally. We are loose ends in all of this as well. And I think that it might be better for all of us if we didn't remember what happened, because then it didn't.
Well, I thought the whole memory altering thing was for Kleka.
It is. We still need to do that because Kleka was a witness to what happened, and that's not good for us. But we also witnessed what happened. And as long as we remember that, we are loose ends.
No loose ends.
I'm gonna have to sit on that one, Jaisha. I don't know. It somehow almost feels worse to forget it. Because what, we just sort of go on with our lives even though Chorus is dead, and if everyone that was involved in that situation forgets, then I don't know, it just feels like a shitty way to honor him.
Why are we bothered with honoring him?
Well, he died, okay? And that means something. Even if he was kind of a
good
douche.
trait of Chorus. Name one thing that you liked about Chorus.
He was a pretty good Mage Tower player.
Okay. Unique trait.
He has a pretty chiseled jaw. Had.
A man with a chiseled jaw means nothing. Like
I guess he is a little short. Or was a little short. Look, it doesn't matter what I guess he was worth. It's just, I don't know. I guess everyone is just inherently worth something. I've just always been told that everyone has potential. And that's important.
I'm not saying that he didn't. I'm not saying that it's right what happened to him or that he deserved it. He didn't. But it was an accident. We can all agree on that. It was an accident. And I think Jaisha is looking particularly at Baru when Ray says that. It was an accident. And I don't think that we particularly deserve to beat ourselves up about it forever, because that's what that sounds like, Stag.
I'm not saying beat ourselves up about it forever. And even if I was, don't we kind of deserve that? I mean, we're still covering it up. The least we can do is remember what we did.
Death teaches you things. Even if it's not your own. The process of dying is knowledge and wisdom. If you want to forget, that's a choice for you. I can't tell you not to. But any frayed rope needs a burned end, or else the entire thing will unravel. So if you all would like to forget, I'll burn the end of the rope. And I'll remember.
X, that's a pretty heavy burden.
Not for me.
Well, there we have it.
I don't know if I believe that, X. I mean, Jaisha, I do agree with that on one thing, which is it's been a tough 2 days. It's been I don't want to. I mean, accident or not, someone's still dead, obviously, and it's heavy, right? I've been having weird dreams. I mean, none of that shit matters. We don't have to go into all of that detail, but X, that's a lot to offer.
Then you'll have to trust me like you trusted me to take care of the body. It's not heavy for me.
Why not?
Please don't ask questions that I don't have answers to.
Oh, what? Like you've killed someone before?
X stares at you impassively and doesn't speak.
Can I roll insight?
I was gonna say, can I roll?
Yeah, I would also like to roll insight on that.
It's
Yeah.
happening.
See,
Ooh,
do you just want to roll once for everyone, or do you want to roll verse everyone individually?
I'll roll once for everyone.
Okay.
Deception.
You got me, that's for damn sure.
You got me as well.
I don't know. I rolled pretty low just now.
What did you roll?
DC 12, everyone.
I rolled a 12. Meets it, beats it.
I got a
I rolled
7.
I rolled an 8.
I have a 14.
Wow, you would see right through them.
I would ask though, to sort of narratively justify the 12, which is, not low, but certainly not high. What is pulling X's guard down with this? Because it's kind of a part of their job to lie about having killed people. So why the slip up?
In this instant, it's less of a slip up and it's more like not a threat, but it's almost this is a promise, right? Like if X has killed people before, it actually makes their argument that much stronger. So there's a way that there's also there's a tension there. Like they're already this deep together. So this is already X is thinking about these people less like civilians and more like it's what they said right before they left to go get the body. Welcome to the Covenant. Almost like they're involved now. So they get to know the secrets too. Not all of them, but a flash of the truth. Like a little bit of that mask cracking apart and falling.
So
Yeah, Stag is kind of laughing at the tail end of that, like Anyway, yes, no. What were we talking about? The forgetting thing. Right.
Jaisha, how do you react?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think Jaisha noticed the slip, the crack in X's mask, and seeing, I think, the Stag's reaction as well, going from clearly joking to not. I think Jaisha's eyes kind of flick over to Stag and tried to make eye contact at some point, you saw that, you see that too, right? Not saying that, but with their gaze, trying to come to some sort of it's not just me, right?
Yeah, I think at the end of Stag trying to change the topic, they look at you, and there's that moment where both of you know that we know that something's going on. But Stag is just sort of Jaisha, the memory thing.
Right, the memory thing. I just think that it might be good for all of us to move on from this in a way. Maybe we can come to a compromise, Stag. We can honor Chorus's memory in some way before we forget.
We'll have a funeral and then we'll drink together.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I just have to ask. This isn't some elaborate ruse to secretly get me to drink rat poison or something, right?
Is that really what you think? I think
I don't
of
know.
you?
I've just no. It's just these past 2 days. Like I said, I haven't really been sleeping well, and I mean, everyone looks like they know. You know what I mean? Like you guys going to class, and whenever people look at you, you think they know, right? So I've just been feeling, I don't know, kind of paranoid.
You think we killed a
Yeah.
man to get you to drink rat poison?
Well, I don't know. None of this makes sense. How Chorus died doesn't make sense. Whatever the fuck Kleka's up to doesn't make any goddamn sense. None of it makes any sense. Why did he live in a sewer for like 10 years? What's up with that? Why didn't he just go to like an island or something? See, none of this, there's no logic to any of this.
Then
So who knows? Maybe you're trying to get me to drink rat poison.
first of all, I make your morning coffee. Second of all, if you want to, let's fine. Let's go. Let's do research. You're a Lorehold student. Look it up.
Right, yeah. Yeah, the Lorehold libraries and stuff. Yeah, I think before we make any kind of group decision, maybe we should just have more information. Like I said, I'll find out more about Kleka, whatever the hell was going on with him, and maybe we won't even have to forget.
Divide and conquer. Work on the memory potion thing, and then we'll also do research and try to figure out what happened to Kleka.
We do need to tie up that loose end before we tie up our own.
True.
Yeah, we do. And that's why this memory altering mutagen needs to work on other people first, before it can work on us. I'm still working that out. Baru is helping me with that, actually.
Yeah, I have some ideas on how we can do that. I've made the ring already. Thank you, Jaisha, by the way. I wouldn't have been able to do it so quickly without your help. But and I pull out the ring, and it's a very simple kind of Damascus ring. I don't know if anyone knows what kind of metal that is, but it's kind of like repeatedly folded upon each other over and over again to make almost like a like swirling pattern within it that almost shimmers with slight iridescence. The iridescence itself is definitely clearly arcane in nature, and on the face of it is one of the I believe we had amorite crystals that we picked up from the
Azurite,
tunnels.
yeah.
Azurite, that's it. I adapted it so it should be able to fit most people's fingers, and I wear it and it shrinks down to fit my finger, and then I turn to Stag. And I'll put it on Stag's finger, and like as it touches the tip, it grows to actually fit onto Stag's finger as well.
Oh, nice. Hold on. If we're all wearing these rings, are people gonna think that we're in some sort of like cult?
Oh,
Or like
no. And then I'll run a finger across the band of it on your finger, and it disappears. It becomes invisible.
whoa. Nice, right. I almost forgot you're good at this sort of glamour thing.
Jaisha, do you want to try messaging Stag?
Okay. Okay. And Jaisha turns to look at Stag and kind of looks very intently at them. And they cast message and try to say, "Can you hear me?"
And it shouldn't work unless you want me to roll for it.
Yeah,
but
I
my feeling
do.
would stop.
You
Okay,
can
then.
roll with advantage. Arcana? Or
Blink
what-
twice if you can hear me.
Because I use smithing tools for this, is this like a check to see if I made this right?
The
basically?
ring do what you want it to do.
Can I add my tool proficiency to this then? Okay, perfect. Because actually, I'm an expert at it, so I have an expertise in this.
As a jeweler?
Yeah. I have expertise in mostly all of the tool proficiencies because of my character sheet.
My character sheet did that.
Character sheet did it for me, Carl. 26.
Yeah, it works. You hear no thoughts, head empty, Stag.
Are you trying something? Are you saying something? I can't tell because your mouth isn't moving.
Yeah, I don't need to move my mouth to cast the spell. Are you not? Can you not? And they turn to X, I think, and they cast message to X, who doesn't have the ring yet, and says, "This is working, right?"
Your magic is good, and so is the ring.
Oh, that's good news.
Nice. I mean, I don't feel different at all. I just still feel like me.
Yes,
But I'm
it
glad
should-
we have these rings now.
You
shouldn't
have
affect you.
one ring.
Yes, I was only able
Oh,
to
just
make
the one?
One ring.
Okay.
It's Sisterhood of the Traveling Ring of Mind Shielding.
I could probably make more, but I've already exhausted quite a bit of my allowance at the moment. So even if I can make one, it's going to have to wait another month or two.
I see. Well, here, I'm glad we know it works.
Thank you.
Not to be that person, but that ring should probably be worn by whichever of us is, how do I say this nicely? The most likely to crack. I don't know who that is. I'm not suggesting that it's that who it is. I just think that we should maybe.
Stag's eyes flick immediately to Cirro as soon as you say crack, but like very quickly flick away.
Cirro's eyes are automatically on Baru.
I think Jaisha's also looking at Baru, not gonna lie.
I'm just gonna keep it a buck, a thou, a billy wow. Oh, it's Baru, my love.
I think even Bar is pretty aware of that. They're like kind of looking down at their lap as they kind of fiddle with the ring.
Not you literally looking at yourself. One of the snakes is like,
I think they're not making eye contact with anyone, but I think they can feel the gaze of everyone, and they just go, if everyone thinks it's best I wear it, I can wear it. Yeah.
Just for now, until we get more rings, and then everybody can have one.
Yeah.
That's gonna take us 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, because we were 4 months. We have to wait 4 months?
What if-
unless you're all willing to pull in, it's really expensive, the ingredients for something like this.
I hate to say this, Stag, but it might be time to ask your fathers for money.
There's 2 things I absolutely can never ask my dads for, and one of them is money. It's just like a rule we have. I'm sorry, I really wish I could.
Where do you get the materials you need?
Depending on what exactly I'm looking for, most of the time I can ask Barcello Shield and they'll connect me with a merchant or a company that provides spare material. Usually I just need scrap metal, so there's never usually too much of an issue. Mr. Arcadium has contacted sometimes when I'm working on a project directly linked with him under his mentorship. He directly connects me to some of his providers as well.
If you get me the names, I'll get you the materials you need.
Yeah, okay. I can write down a list.
Given what we learned 2 seconds ago, I think when X suggests that, Jaisha looks very concerned at X and then quickly looks over at Stag and then looks back at X.
And X like turns to meet your gaze with a kind of like problem, you know?
What do you mean that you'll get the materials? I didn't realize you had so much money, X.
I don't.
And these merchants, what do you plan on doing? They won't just give them to you.
They might not gift them to me, but most people won't notice a handful of scrap metal missing from a shipment that probably weighs over 3 tons.
Oh,
Would they borrow?
maybe, but we're going to need more than just metal. Going to need quite a lot of magical ink, and either we're going to have to buy the separate ingredients for that, or get the whole just pre-made magic ink. We're going to need the proper scrolls and parchment needed to make some of the spellcasting scrolls.
Baro, you know that if you want specialty items in bulk, you're going to have to go to the source. And the largest city close to you is called Paradox Gardens.
I have rapport with some folks in Paradox Gardens. That's where
Paradox Gardens. Gardens for your paradox. That's the jingle that always plays.
Yeah. Yeah, wait, have you? Yeah, every time I go walk in, they usually have that playing as an advertisement.
Sorry, can you say that again? I didn't catch that.
Yeah. Paradox Gardens, the gardens for your paradox. Right?
Is there a second verse of that?
Yeah, it's a whole song. I can't believe you guys have never heard of it.
I'm not from here, so I've never.
Yeah, can you? What's the second verse?
This is my first time out of the monastery. If you could just do the whole song, actually, I think that would be.
Yeah,
great.
it's like, well, I
Here,
either
Connie.
can do the song or I can do the beat. Which one do you want me to do?
All of it. Me and Liv, the player.
One at a time.
Space, and I'm like all of it.
Connie, you also know Paradox Gardens is known as the city where heaven meets the earth.
Oh, okay.
If you need another verse topic.
Well, you know, like the first verse kind of goes. It's pretty self-referential. This is the first verse. Heaven meets earth. Paradox Garden. Come here and get a heart and all kinds of colors. Red, white, and blue. Green, pink, and yellow. You don't have to choose. Paradox Garden, the garden for your paradox.
And what's the beat on that when that song is going?
You're not evil.
I can't believe none of you have. It's just it kind of goes like a. Yeah, and there's like there's like people ad-lib in the back.
That's really spot on. They usually
Thanks.
play
Yeah,
that over
come on, like-
intercom whenever I visit to get.
Right, it's a
supplies.
super famous jingle. You guys seriously
on
need to start
Stonify?
listening to it. Yeah, it's all over Stonify.
It's so weird that I haven't heard this before.
I grew up in a different realm. I've never heard music like that before in my life.
To be honest, I don't really listen to that much music, but maybe I should start after that.
Oh, well, it's just jingle music, you know. If you want to listen to like actual good music, I mean, what kind of things do you like to listen to? Prog, rock, metal, like classical stuff?
Well, I mean, I'm kind of into the more melancholy, confessional
Some
kind of music.
ballads. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some really great indie artists that are writing some incredible ballads right now. We're getting off track. I'm sorry. I don't know. Just you said Paradox Gardens and boo the jingle. Like Paradox, it's just you know how it is.
Maybe you could send me that music another time, but right. Focusing.
Yes, Paradox Gardens is probably where I can get everything I need without having to go to different merchants. We won't be able to like strike up a deal and get the cheapest magical ink and then the cheapest metal. They kind of have to shop around for that. But if we just want to go to one place for that, we can go there.
Maybe we all go together.
Tab or something. I'm hoping I'm enough of a frequent customer that they might trust me to do something like that.
Perhaps. And if that doesn't work, we can try it my way.
What does your way mean?
It means we get what we need.
Are you gonna need any help with your way?
If you're offering, there is just one more thing you may or may not have to erase.
What does that mean?
It just means I'd be taking something that isn't mine yet. And you have to be very quiet. And they kind of look at Stag, who is known for being very loud.
I can be quiet. I can. And Stag stands there, trying their best to be like as quiet as possible.
I'm not the GM, but I kind of want to roll to see how well that goes.
The jangling of metal.
Yes, please give me a dex.
Stealth?
Stealth,
That'd be
sure.
a stealth check.
Yeah.
I have a +1 to stealth. That is a natural 20!
Burned it on a good one. Wow.
Oh, no.
Stag can be quiet.
Then maybe we do all go. Perhaps it would be better if all of us were in Paradise Garden together. Paradise City? Paradise Garden.
Paradise Gardens.
Paradox.
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 Welcome down to the
Garden
Paradox
for your
City.
paradox.
Get your paradogs at Paradox Gardens.
That's why they had to rewrite the jingle.
That's right.
Yeah.
No one wanted hot dogs. They said, how many meats are in that? No. All right.
So it's settled then.
Yeah. If we're gonna have to do something really risky for the benefit of all of us, I think all of us should do it.
I agree. We don't pin the blame on anyone. We're in this together. All of us now.
Exactly. For better or for worse.
And I think Baru slips on the ring in that moment and traces their finger around it as it turns invisible.
And horrifyingly, Stag puts out a hand into the middle of the circle, face down. Come on, we do this at Mage Tower all the time.
Yeah, but that's different. Okay. And Jaisha puts their hand reluctantly on top of Stag's.
X also kind of does it, but they don't really look like they know why they're doing it, but they do it.
Baru is very visibly confused, but does it anyway.
Cirro hates every fucking second of this as they put their hand into. This is lame. This is not cool.
We usually have a chant in Mage Tower. I don't know if you want to go all the way.
I don't
with
think
this
we should
Stag.
have I don't want to chant.
Could you do the jingle again?
And Stag says very seriously, like her face like completely grim. Paradox Garden's a garden for your paradox.
Paradox Garden's a garden for your paradox.
Paradox.
Paradox Garden's a garden for your paradox.
And with that, we fly back from this cringe scene out of the window, and our view tilts down, so we're just getting an overhead shot of the bog. And just as we reach the edge of our vision, we can hear the distinct sucking noise of someone's booted feet trumping through the swamp. And that's where we're going to end the episode. We're going to have Connie go last tonight because Connie's got the big bang announcement. C, do you want to start us off with outros?
Oh my gosh. He booted bootily. Thank you, Hamna. I had to say that out loud with my mouth.
Goofing.
New boot goofin. He boot too big for he goddamn mud. Hi everyone, my name is C. I use they them pronouns. You can find me making very trans, very gay art on the internet at Pie Sharp Art. If you liked what I did here tonight, you like what I do other places, so check me out on Mondays at Exquisite Corpse. Check me out on Thursdays on the Mythic Initiative. Check me out on Saturdays at Transplanter RPG, which is coming up on its final season. 8 more episodes left. And the interlude tonight, but Connie will talk all about that later. I'm in a couple of upcoming things. You'll see them when you see them. I don't know. Just follow me on Twitter and also on Hive at CPlays if you want. And that's been me. I played X, who's definitely not an assassin, who definitely hasn't killed like way more people. They're like, why is everyone so concerned? Everyone is really, really concerned about this. Why? I don't get it. Anyway, I am going to pass it to Hamna.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. My name is Hamna. I use any and all pronouns, and I am a TTRPG performer. Today, I have been Jaisha, who uses they, Ray pronouns, who is coming up with some very not terrible ideas about how we should all handle this. Very, very healthy ways of processing our emotions. If you like what I do, you can find me on Twitter at @shahid_, where I talk about all of the different projects that I'm a part of. I'm on a lot of different APs right now, so if you want to know where I'm at any given point in time, Twitter is the best place to keep up with me. I will just shout out the next stream that I will be on Monday at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time over on the Exquisite Corpse Presents with C. We are playing Divine Intervention, which is a D&D 5e campaign where we play mortals reborn as gods. It is season 2. We are currently... Drac is also on that, and it's going to be a time because I think Drac and I are going to fight next episode. We're going to fight.
Who knows?
I'm going to kill Drac. I'm going to kill Drac next episode. So if you want to come see that.
Finally.
You're going to kill Drac?
Thank you.
Not-
Thank you for your service.
Not Drac's character. No,
Oh.
not Drac's character.
Okay,
I'm going to kill
good.
Drac.
Good,
Yeah.
okay,
They've
yeah.
been Hamlet to do this for ages. I'm just glad it's finally happening.
Yeah, I'm really excited personally. And with that, I will actually pass it on to Drac.
Yes, hi, I'm the one that's going to be murdered by Hamna. I'm Drac, or Draconics. You can find me on Twitter at Draconics. That's DRAKONIQUES. I just want to say, Lexi, just wait until tomorrow's episode, Monday's episode. You'll see if I learn my lesson. But like everyone said, I'm going to be on Mondays, every other Monday. I'm over on Exquisite Corpse Presents, a campaign called Divine Intervention, where we play gods, or in Hamna and C's case, mortals turned gods, and I play Cronus, the god of time. And yeah, there might be some hands thrown between me and Hamna during the episode. Now it's going to be very interesting. God, what else? Saturdays, I'm here. Hi. I have other things going on, but I can't remember what I'm actually allowed to talk about. So just keep an eye on me on Twitter at Draconics, DRAKONIQUES. The same on Hive as well if you want to follow me there, because I'm doing a bunch of really cool, very interesting stuff. Also the co-founder and event organizer of French Roll Dice. We're going to be winding down a bit for the end of this year, but we've got some very cool projects in the works that's going to be starting up in the new year. But yeah, that's it. I'm going to throw it over to Liv.
Hello. Yeah, things are winding down, but hey, we're still here and we're having a good old time. My name is Liv. You can find me on the internet at Liv in a Day. I'm Liv. It's a day, and I'm in it. I'm here. Thank you so much for joining me. I really only have one other thing this year. I'm going to be, we have the finale of Delta Green, Henrietta, over on The Lost Caravan, where I play a very small, very anxious newbie to the team, Agent Micro. I am also playing the techie of the group, which is really, really hard for me because if you know me at all, I am not the tech person. I am not a computer person. I don't know anything about those boxes. But yeah, we're having a good time. And I'll be here on Saturday having a blast with everybody. But that's all I've got. Go watch and support Connie, our master beatboxer. Connie, take it away.
It's me, Connie, the master beatboxer. I just had to shoehorn a way in to do it.
It was perfect. It was so good.
Yes. I've been Connie Chong. My pronouns are they, he, and she. You can find me across the internet at by Connie Chong. That's BYCONNICHANG, namely on Twitter and TikTok. I am also the GM and creative producer for Transplanar RPG, which is an odd transgender, POC-led dark fantasy D&D show set in an original non-colonial anti-Orientalist world. The very last stream of 2022 for Transplanar is tonight. It's in like 90 minutes at 8 p.m. US Eastern Time. It's only 20 minutes long, and it's a very special Arc 7 interlude, which bridges the gap for our campaign into Arc 8, which will debut next year, like early January, like the first Saturday of January, which is going to be our final arc, the very last arc of Transplanar RPG, the Second Stranger, our first main campaign. And the interlude tonight is going to be truly off the walls. It's going to be a wild ride. I'm in it 3 times. It's starring me 3 times as 3 different people, as 2 different characters and a narrator. So you should tune in. It's fully scored, very experimental. It's like black box theater bullshit. So if that's interesting to you, tune in at 8 on Transplanar RPG. Again, it's only 20 minutes long. There's going to be a pre-show and a post-show where I talk to you and say hello. So come swing by and say hello. It'll be a nice, quick, fully scored sound effect little finale for Arc 7. And thank you, Vana, for providing me the space to do a special little Transplanar sign-off tonight. I'm going to pass it back to you.
Oh, thank you. I'm Vana. You can find me streaming here, twitch.tv/Vana, VANA, full-time. I am going to be gone. Well, I think I'm going to play some Fortnite tonight because I have to for a contract. So catch me after the Transplanar stream. Playing some Fortnite. But then I'm going to be off for a few days, hanging with my fam bam. But then I'll be back. So keep an eye on my Twitter at Havanarama, HAVANARAMA. That's the best bet to see when and where and how and why I go live. And we have no episode next week. It is Christmas Eve. And we must be visited by 3 ghosts in the night. So we cannot be here. But we will have an episode on New Year's Eve. And it's going to be guest starring Abria Iyengar. So make sure you mark your motherfucking calendars. That'll be New Year's Eve, 3 p.m. ET, episode 7. And I'm sure Abria will do nothing nefarious or bad or wicked. Now go raid a friend of mine, and we'll see y'all next time. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Bye-bye.